Happy New Year 2026 to everyone listening around the world. We're rekindling the fire for a new season, and it seems like an appropriate time to look back at our 2025 biggest year yet. So today's episode is a state of the Low and Slow Barbecue Union and a progress report on our podcast, blog, YouTube channel, and growing Low and Slow Barbecue Show Nation at the start of our fourth season in operation. We'll also hit some of the top barbecue news since we went on break at the end of November. I can't wait to share what Blue Suede BBQ's Chris Loschiavo has done with the help from the Carolina BBQ family. I'll get to all of that in just a moment, but first, no, I'm not going to drop in the usual Low and Slow Barbecue Show intro commercial where I tell you to visit lowslowbbqshow.com for all that good stuff like the blog and our complete Low and Slow Barbecue Show podcast library. You can visit that if you want to. I'm starting instead with the good things that happened in 2025, and our first episode of the new season will start in light of that with an invitation to start planning for a few barbecue events in the year ahead. Stay tuned for some new things we're cooking up with a few barbecue friends. The Low and Slow Barbecue Show's got some things in the works, some irons in the fire, as they say. Until then, no details. But for now, I can confirm the following information about what our friends have cooking up already. Carolina Barbecue Festival is happening at Victoria Yards in Charlotte, April 17th and 18th. Mark your calendar now. Charlotte's 5th Carolina Barbecue Festival launches with the kickoff. That's a Friday night feature with an intimate setting, a handful of pitmasters selected from around the Queen City. And then Saturday's fully involved event brings 25 pitmasters to Victoria Yards. It promises a sample of every kind of barbecue you've ever wanted and probably a few you've never imagined. Last year, they did some wild things with alligators and other things. Every bite of that is prepared by the best barbecue gurus from the Carolinas, as well as a few other places around the Southeast. We're excited to be the official podcast of the festival, so get your tickets soon. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for more for the official pitmaster announcements and details about the barbecue brunch that's coming up soon this spring. We'll have information about that. While you're marking calendars, don't overlook July 9th through 11th, right after the July 4th Independence Day holiday. That's the South Carolina Festival of Discovery. Greenwood, South Carolina will fill with barbecue competition and blues. It happens every summer, and it just happens to be two of this chigger's favorite things, blues and barbecue. And the event's hash-off ensures a distinctly South Carolina flair to the proceedings. So stay tuned for more details. We'll have them here on the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. You can keep up with those details on Festival of Discovery's Facebook page as well. Last but definitely not least, but it's a nice bookend, is the Pinehurst Barbecue Festival. Pinehurst, North Carolina, Labor Day weekend. Christopher Prieto Pitmaster Invitational is the can't-miss culinary event to wrap up the summer smoking season. And do not overlook activities throughout the rest of that weekend. However, the High on the Hog dinner with a selected pitmaster and the barbecue reimagined. There are a couple of gems in that great festival's crown. I know there's some others coming up, Holy Smokes, and a few more we'll try to catch on to as the year winds up. But for now, you definitely want to mark your calendar for those events. Now, before I get into the state of the Low and Slow Barbecue Show Union, let's lead with the most important stuff. It's the news in the barbecue world, and that begins with Chris Loschiavo from Blue Suede BBQ. You guys might remember he's a retired paratrooper living near Southern Pines. He's got his post-retirement barbecue food truck business really picking up speed. You can find him at Red's Corner and a few other places around the Pinehurst and southeast end of North Carolina and that region altogether. You might remember we met Chris a couple of years ago. He shared his passion for barbecue and charitable organizations like the Live Like Lou Foundation. That's an organization that helps people struggling with ALS. A lot of people know it or used to know it as Lou Gehrig's disease. And visit bluesuedebbq.com to find out more about Chris's business. And he's got information there about the Live Like Lou Foundation. Get information there too. I want to tell you about his holiday project. He set out to try and provide a smoked holiday ham in time for Christmas in every home in North Carolina where there's a family member struggling with ALS. That number is just above 43 families around the state. Before Christmas, Chris was able to connect with 13 of those families and provide hams to them at no charge to the household. But he also did it with a lot of help from the barbecue family. Specifically, Jake Wood and his team at Lawrence Barbecue smoked and delivered 3 hams around the greater Raleigh area. Ben Hooper from Ben's Backdraft Barbecue, he smoked and delivered a ham in the Asheville area. Our old buddy Jason Knapp from the Kitchen Goat Feeds, he has a festival every year down in Nashville, North Carolina. He covered the east end of the state, running 4 hams all along the coast. Finally, Chris, the man behind Blue Suede BBQ and the project for Live Like Blue Foundation, delivered 5 hams to locations spanning from Charlotte and Concord up to Ruffin and Burlington. A lot of areas to travel, a lot of miles, and a lot of work that Chris and all those barbecue people did for a really great cause. So congratulations to Chris, and thank you to all those great people that helped bring that holiday cheer into some homes that really always need it. Speaking of Ben's Backdraft Barbecue, Ben's in the spotlight of Asheville's WLOS, the TV station. You can watch the video online and see how Ben Hooper's grown his business from food truck to community hub after Helene. Remember, Ben shared a good bit of that story with us on the Low and Slow Barbecue Show in October 2024. Just check out that episode in our library at lowslowbbqshow.com, or you could have your AI assistant search it out on the web. A couple other notes of barbecue business news around the Carolinas. Clyde Cooper's Barbecue is moving from downtown Raleigh after nearly 90 years in business. In early January, it'll begin the transition into the current home of the dwindling barbecue chain, Red Hot and Blue Barbecue. The new home will be about 6 miles northeast of its current location for Clyde Cooper's. That's outside the I-440 loop. The Quail Corner Shopping Center, they call it the suburbs out there. Clyde Cooper's owners have been trying to move out of downtown since 2023, citing foot traffic, crime, and parking, among other reasons. The Clyde Cooper's current building sold to a casual Japanese restaurant chain called Hibachi 88 last June. RO's Barbecue in Gastonia ended its 80-year restaurant run on December 27th. 3 generations operated the business using the same barbecue slaw recipe all along. That recipe, by the way, you can continue to find it. It'll still be sold in nearby retail stores alongside RO's Pimentos cheese. If you've ever had it, you'll know why it's so popular, and it will continue to succeed. Finally, Shepherd Barbecue is closing and moving from their Emerald Isle location. They're moving away from it. That's according to a social post on Instagram from Shepherd Barbecue last week. Brandon posted his love letter to the Emerald Isle on his social post. If you follow Brandon Shepherd and Shepherd Barbecue's history, a lot of that Emerald Isle location had a lot going on for the launch of his business, including a visit from the mayor of Flavortown, Guy Fieri. Last year, Shepherd Barbecue opened a location in Wilmington's new cargo district, and I know there's probably a lot more year-round traffic there, so hopefully Shepherd Barbecue will continue to do well in that container business. So that's the barbecue news out of the way. Let's take a look back at 2025 and our State of the Low and Slow Barbecue Show Union. And as I give you the rundown, I want to let you know you can find links to all the following information on our blog. For instance, we'll link some of the most popular podcasts for blogs for easy access in case you missed them as we put them out there. The Low and Slow Barbecue Show achieved new levels of success in our 4th season. New partnerships with Pinehurst Barbecue Festival, South Carolina's Old 96 District. They opened the door to new festival experiences for us and our audience. It helped us introduce new barbecue traditions and share with our audience on the podcast and Instagram a lot of new innovations in barbecue and the cool stuff happening across the Carolinas with barbecue. Of course, Carolina Barbecue Festival and Southern Barbecue Network, they've been there since the beginning, and they've continued allowing us to be their platform for spotlighting the Carolina barbecue traditions. Combined, the Low and Slow Barbecue Show covered 5 barbecue events in North Carolina and South Carolina last year. In turn, those events helped support the production of 42 podcast episodes. Last year, the Low and Slow Barbecue Show produced our 100th episode. We interviewed 18 pitmasters from 6 states, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, Virginia, and Arkansas. That doesn't include event organizers or backyard hobbyists. These are the folks who do barbecue for a living, the barbecue expert pitmasters. Of course, they're a big reason that we started this podcast to share their story. Some of those pitmasters we actually talked to twice. Matthew Register from Southern Smoke Barbecue was everywhere last year. Last year, our podcast exceeded 10,000 downloads for the history of our operation, and we reached listeners in 68 nations. Hey, shout out to our audiences in Sweden, Finland, Sri Lanka, and Tanzania. Don't know how you found us, but thanks so much for listening. Keep it dialed in or subscribe, and we'll push it to you every time a new podcast launches. Speaking of our new podcast, our most popular podcast produced in 2025, and this is based on downloads. You can find them. Again, I'll have them linked in the blog. I just want to kind of give them a quick rundown. It was our conversation with Elliot Moss, our meeting with Eric Pickle from Knoxville, Tennessee, our interview with Dampf Good Barbecue and Nick Dampf, a great operation in Cary. Of course, Sam Jones as Michael Letchworth, always draws a big audience. So does Christopher Prieto from Prime Barbecue and the soon-to-be coming Prime STQ, and, of course, the Pinehurst Barbecue Festival. And then also in the top 6, food writer Andre James. He shared his Mount Rushmore of barbecue, and we talked a little bit about Chattanooga barbecue, too. If you're interested, obviously, if you haven't heard those, a lot of other people have our top downloads for the year. You can check them out in our episode library. All that stuff is spoken word, so let's take a little bit about what we're putting down on paper, or I guess computer screens. The genesis of the Low and Slow Barbecue Show for me is a lifetime spent sharing stories. A medium varies: newspapers, digital websites, marketing deliverables, radio broadcast. Some of those have been a little more exciting than others, some more challenging to produce, but it always seems there's been a burning natural fire that's just needed a little tending along the way. Now, I did that for the Smoke Sheet. If you don't know, it's a weekly nationwide newsletter produced by barbecue tourist Ryan Cooper and NYC Barbecue Sean Ludwig. Here, I connected with a barbecue resource that affords me space to stretch my foodie journalism legs. It's a nice break from supply chain tech content. That's my main hustle. And it gives us a chance to bring a new spotlight nationwide to a lot of great Carolina barbecue stories that we hope to share. These feature articles published in the Smoke Sheet during the past year. And again, thanks to Ryan and Sean for the opportunity to contribute. If you love barbecue, check out their Substack. So those articles in January, we spotlighted farm barbecue. I'm sad to say, I hope it didn't announce their jinx, but shortly after that, farm barbecue went out of work. I wish those folks well. They've had a change in careers, as happens in the restaurant business, but shortly after we published, they went out of business. Not going out of business, the Carolina Barbecue Festival and the article we produced on their best bites published in April in the Smoke Sheet. In September, it was the Pinehurst Barbecue Festival's report on how that event boosts the economic growth for that entire region. And we were proud to share that with the Smoke Sheet in September. Finally, in October, Golden Rule Barbecue and its continued legacy growth, thanks to a Guinness World Record and some really cool marketing things those guys are doing there in Birmingham, Alabama. So that was the Smoke Sheet. Meanwhile, the Low and Slow blog, that's a space where I can continue to spew out into the universe more words about whatever barbecue nations enter my head. Or maybe they're ideas that hold the potential to inform or promote all those people that are working so hard in the barbecue life. In the blog last year, 15 new additions. That included pitmaster spotlights, event previews, reviews, barbecue news, even a few recipes. These were the 5 most popular from the year gone. Of course, our Carolina Barbecue Festival guide for 2025 is always popular, as well as our introduction to the Alabama Barbecue Chase. That's a cool guy that's got some good barbecue stuff going on in Birmingham and Alabama and that whole region. He's spotlighting some of the best barbecue in that entire state, now expanding his borders as well. We introduced Golden Rule Barbecue. That was a popular blog with our audience. And my argument about the 50 best barbecue joints in the South and what is missing, and I felt like there were some ones missing from it. That was a popular blog, as well as finally our review of Jim and Nick's Community Barbecue in Hickory, our location here in my home area. We gave them a review, all positive stuff, but not quite the same as what some of our good local friends are producing. I'd say that averaging a little more than 1 blog a month and a national byline and a quarterly kind of cadence, that feels like a good benchmark to build on for the year ahead. Moving on to live action video barbecue. Video has not killed the radio star, no matter what they say, and it won't completely replace all those audio broadcasts, wordy eruptions, or the still photos. platforms still, like Instagram and TikTok, they're certainly putting a lot of gas on humanity's preference for video. And if you can combine fire and food and faces of the people putting the two together, man, it makes a lot of great video. The Low and Slow Barbecue Show continued expanding our video footprint in the year past with live festival footage on our Instagram page. We'll do that in the year ahead as well. We also had podcast videos and video shorts published to our YouTube channel. Speaking of the channel, it gained 80 subscribers last year, where we published 52 videos, 12 shorts, and a lot of those included Pitmaster on the Street interviews, a pickle eating competition, and some mouth-watering barbecue eye candy. The top videos from YouTube channel over the years, since we're in the top 5 cadence, it was our interview with Smoked Pickle Pitmaster Eric Pickle. It was our talk about our smoked tenders on the street, our Pitmasters on the Street interviews with Carolina BBQ Festival. We also had interviews with Adam Hughes, Michael Letchworth, and again, Elliot Moss among our top videos viewed. Among the shorts category, our interview with Cheeseburger took the prize. Cheeseburger won the pickle eating competition at the 25th annual Squealing on the Square. We were there. We had it live. We broadcasted out to the world. You can see it there at the YouTube channel. And let me tell you, if you haven't seen it, man, Cheeseburger can put a pickle away. Pool's Diner, the chef, Ashley Christensen, she visited with us at the Pinehurst Barbecue Festival and talked a little bit about her blue crab and grits. And I don't know how the viral world works. Some things catch the wind, some don't. But Pool's Diner was among our top videos viewed on our short collection at our YouTube channel. And that's, again, with Ashley Christensen. Finally, to wrap up our State of the Low and Slow Barbecue Union, our newsletter, The Lowdown. Our subscriber audience for the weekly Lowdown newsletter continues to grow. It was up 68% in 2025, and the newsletter format's pretty well fixed, but we still continue sort of tweaking the voice and the volume and the information resources we try to share with you week to week. Between January and our seasonal break in November, the Low and Slow Barbecue Show distributed 39 weekly newsletters. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Lowdown, and you'll get our Carolina Barbecue newsletter delivered to your inbox. It includes Carolina Barbecue news, barbecue business news, food truck schedules, a barbecue festival calendar. Our newsletter also includes links to our most recent content and our favorite partners, so you won't miss anything. Sign up today. Subscriptions are free. I do it because I love barbecue, and I hope you do too. And that, my friends, is the final word from this episode of the Low and Slow Barbecue Show and the 2026 State of the Low and Slow Barbecue Show Union. Thank you so much for joining us to start our 4th season on the Mesh.tv network of podcasts. The podcast doesn't happen without the team at the Mesh, especially our producer, Andrew Moose. Find more podcasts like ours and others completely unlike ours, all in the network at the Mesh.tv. Find more Low and Slow Barbecue Show content at our website, lowslowbbqshow.com. That's where you can access our complete podcast library and the Low and Slow blog. Links we mentioned throughout today's podcast, we'll put them all in there. Just go in and click and listen or read and enjoy for yourself. While you're visiting lowslowbbqshow.com, again, be sure to sign up for our newsletter and get the latest Carolina barbecue news delivered to your email inbox. For the Low and Slow Barbecue Show, I'm Trigger Willard reminding you that for the best barbecue and the best barbecue podcast, make it low and slow.